I woke up one morning and I was told an uncle of mine decided to relocate to Burkina Faso in search of a better life. I was like, what? Who really relocates to Burkina Faso in search of greener pasture? Because all I knew about this country is multiple military coups and terrorism. Why is the world suddenly paying attention to this once forgotten nation located in the heart of West Africa?
Captain Ibrahim Traoré.
Captain Ibrahim Traoré,
President of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré.
Ibrahim Traoré.
It is all because of this 34-year-old captain who seized power in a coup and is now Africa's youngest leader. He kicked out the French, rejected IMF loans, and formed a military alliance that is shaking the foundations of global power. As an African creator passionate about promoting Africa, this is music to my ears. But then, why does Western leaders want him dead?
18 times there had been attempts to kill him by snipers, poison, explosives, even undercover agents. All had failed.
Here's the truth. Africa is the richest continent in the world in terms of resources. We're talking about gold, iron, oil, cobalt, lithium, and rare earth materials used for the production of batteries for the electric vehicles that we see, and it's also used to power all of your smartphones. But yet, most of the African countries where these materials are excavated from are among the poorest in the world. This is a child working in a gold mine in Burkina Faso. Now, the gold that this child crawled into a tunnel to extract mostly end up in the coffers of the French state. For many years now, many multinational corporations and foreign powers have been sucking up the African country dry. They are extracting Africa's wealth without building long-term prosperity for us. They are scooping up all of the lithium, they're scooping up all of the cobalt, and while these African countries don't get caught from the proceeds of these raw materials, further impoverishing their former colony. Now, this is a term called neo-colonialism, and Ibrahim Traoré doesn't subscribe to this nonsense, and I guess that is why they want to take him out.
President Captain Ibrahim Traoré has reportedly survived yet another assassination attempt amidst growing political instability in his country.
If they dare touch Ibrahim Traoré, they will regret. We are ready to go and fight in the Burkina Army. Me, my old age, I'm going to fight in the Burkina Faso Army. All these people follow me and we'll go and fight in the Burkina Faso Army. They should dare try Ibrahim Traoré.
But everyone agrees Burkina Faso is developing under Traoré. This is what is happening in Burkina Faso. This is why this country has been making headlines, and this is why Ibrahim Traoré is feared by the Western government. Now, Ibrahim Traoré took over power on September 30th, 2022. Military vehicles rolled into Burkina Faso's capital, Ouagadougou, and before sunrise, a coup was underway, and that was the second one that year. Ibrahim Traoré forcefully expelled the previous leader, Colonel Paul-Henri Damiba, who had been in power for only 8 months and considered incapable of fixing the country's problem.
As the day unfolded, a small crowd gathered celebrating the military takeover and the end of Paul-Henri Damiba's rule.
Damiba has been in power for 9 months. He has killed Burkina Faso. He has sold all of us. He is incompetent. The people will raise their voices to make him understand that they are heard.
His men stormed the national broadcaster and declared Traoré the new leader of Burkina Faso. But he didn't just take over the country. He inherited a ticking time bomb, a nation at war, an economy in shambles, and a public desperate for change. He knew all of this. When Ibrahim Traoré took over Burkina Faso, he promised not politics but progress. It has been 3 years since Traoré took over the government, and the people of Burkina Faso seem happy with him to show he's somewhat delivering on his promises.
What do you love about Burkina Faso?
I love our president.
Your president?
Because our president is changing the narrative.
Are you trying to say that the country was not like this before he came into power?
Of course. I think it is the first president to come to give our dignity that we deserve.
I have right here a long list of all that President Ibrahim Traoré is doing for his country. And the first would be in January of 2023. President Traoré ordered the French troops to leave Burkina Faso. Within 1 month, all French development aid was halted. And then French media outlets like France 24 and the RFI, they were all suspended. In his words, it wasn't just a military move, it was a declaration of independence. Number 2, Burkina Faso has reduced dependency on IMF and the World Bank loans. Traoré has criticized these institutions for first, funding ineffective NGOs, promoting economic slavery, and failing to stop terrorism or improve the life of an ordinary citizen. For decades, Burkina Faso's fate was shaped in Paris and at the IMF boardrooms, but Ibrahim Traoré ripped off that script. He is burning bridges with the West and building new ones with Russia. This is why the people of Burkina Faso love this man. This is the first time I am seeing citizens of a country praise and worship their leader. This means he's doing something right. This love is not just in Burkina Faso, it is everywhere, in the Caribbean, in America, in Europe. People are hitting the streets with placards rooting for Traoré.
Ibrahim Traoré is not going to be like Gaddafi Amanda. We are going to stand in solidarity with Ibrahim Traoré Amanda.
Guys, this is incredible. And as shown on Woody Maya's video, some people sleep on the road to ensure the president's safety. Wow.
I heard that you all sleep on the street just to protect your president.
Imagine they're sitting here and the president just passed and see them. That's kind of motivate the president. This is why they decided to go out and to be like, oh, if something happened in the country, they have to be alerted so they can react immediately in order to protect the president.
So, number 3, President Traoré has cut ties with foreign companies involved in Burkina Faso's infrastructural developments like roads, airports. He's replacing them with locally equipped trained workers and also buying 1,000 machineries for them to use. This previously kept the people of Burkina poor. And number 4, President Traoré has introduced policies to boost the local control over food production and processing. Number 5, he's pushing for state control over their own energy, particularly electricity, so they can reduce dependency on foreign suppliers. This is what the Western government don't like. Number 6, which is one of the most important, he's buying back the country's major gold mines. Emphasis on the word buying back because they were previously owned by foreign companies. I know as a military ruler, he could have just taken it by force, but no, he didn't. He bought it. He paid $80 million for 2 of the country's gold mine, and he called that purchase reclaiming of national land from foreign ownership. What Burkina Faso is doing has started a revolution in Africa. We've now seen Ivory Coast and Senegal also pushing to remove foreign base from their territory. Niger has ended an agreement that allowed US personnel to operate in their country. And I envision in the near future, this theme will be spread across the African continent. Burkina Faso has now joined forces with Mali and Niger to form an alliance of Sahel states. They have all exited ECOWAS. So they are basically saying, we are done with Western influence and they want to be self-reliant. Members of the Sahel states are in talks of creating their own joint currency, independent of the CFA franc used by 14 African countries and what Traoré considered a colonial currency. They are also creating their own international passports to enhance ease of movement and trade within themselves, and a joint army for stronger military support. So this means an attack on one state is an attack on all states. Traoré frames this as part of the Pan-African sovereignty movement. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I call a rebirth of the true African independence. This right here is the future, because why is the continent so rich in resources that can literally power the world with its rare earth minerals, but yet so poor? But then again, is history about to repeat itself? We have seen revolutionary leaders come and go, a lot of people see Ibrahim Traoré as a reincarnation of Thomas Sankara, who also seized power through a coup and ruled from 1986. Thomas Sankara wore simplicity like an armor. He rode bikes to work and sold off all of the government fleets of luxury cars. He spoke of dignity through self-reliance because he was fed up with the corruption and foreign dependency. And you know what happened to him? Just 4 years later, he was assassinated. His policies were all reversed, and those French firms he expelled regained contracts for roads and airports in Burkina Faso. Ibrahim Traoré's version of that message is somewhat similar. He has rejected salary as head of state. He has chosen to remain a captain when, of course, he can promote himself to general. And he has relaunched Air Burkina in 2024 to boost air connectivity.
This is one of the initiatives of His Excellency to industrialize his country, hence an electric car manufacturing plant in the country. What most of us saw was just one model, which is the first ever model that was created in the country, that is called the Sahel. If you don't know, the Sahel region or the Sahel states made up of Burkina, Niger and Mali.
And as someone who wants progress for his people, they want him dead. But it's important to mention, not all of these claims have been verified. I also heard his head of security was allegedly offered $5 million to assassinate Traoré, but he rejected. Now, we don't know who offered him the money and whether this news is true or not. It is really hard to differentiate what is real and what is not in this day and age with AI. There are a lot of claims that he has cleared Burkina Faso's debt, that he has already made healthcare and education completely free. But I found an article on Voice of America News saying all of these are misleading claims. All these claims are not made by Traoré himself, but by his supporters, which he has a lot of them. The false information I am seeing online is cracking me. There are all of these AI-generated videos of musicians like R. Kelly, Lil Wayne, Rihanna, and Kanye West all singing songs about Ibrahim Traoré, when of course they aren't really singing. I mean, you can tell it's AI. What should we really believe now? But I think it is time I need to pack my bags and visit Burkina Faso for myself. So you guys, you should wait for a part 2 version of this video where I would probably explore Burkina Faso. So subscribe to the channel and wait for that episode. So I don't think this song is really working for the scene. Okay, now that's better. Now all of this music and sound effect I use in this video is from today's sponsor, Epidemic Sound. As a content creator, finding the right track can make or break your video. In today's episode, I arrived Africa's richest city. Epidemic Sound gives me unlimited access to thousands of royalty-free tracks and sound effects that elevate the quality of my video. They have made it very easy to find music that fits your story. You can search here or click on a theme that describes your video. And if you listen to a sound you like, you can also find similar sounds just by a click of a button. Just click this button right here and you'll see tons of related sound to pick from. But the most interesting feature I like about Epidemic is you can choose a stem. So let me explain. So like this sound playing, I can just use only the drums or the strings, or just download the whole track. Epidemic Sound has really simplified finding and customizing music so easily with thousands of sound effects, and I have been using them for, I don't know, so many years now. So use my special link in the description to sign up and get 30 days free trial to test it out for yourself and watch your content get elevated like mine. So now let's continue with the video. A lot of critics call him a dictator because he did rise to power in a coup. Traoré rules not as a president but a transitional military leader. And once again, I have a list of things he has been criticized for all written here. So the first is he has suspended the constitution. He has dissolved the National Assembly. The military controls key ministries like defense, security, territorial administration, and intelligence. Number 2, he has postponed elections and avoid setting a firm date for elections. Civic society groups, opposition parties, and independent press have limited or no formal say in governance in the country. In the new Burkina Faso, the soldier's gun holds more power than the voters' ballot. Number 3, he has banned media and free speech in the country. And number 4, online spaces are closely monitored and state-aligned digital influencers promote only government narrative. So number 5, he has exited ECOWAS and made friends with Russia. Burkina Faso has reopened its embassy in Moscow, so it seems like Moscow is the new Paris, but it's unclear what price comes with such relationship. However, all of this was meant to be temporary, but when military controls the timeline, democracy can stay on pause indefinitely. Burkina Faso today is not democracy, nor is it dictatorship in a classic sense. It is something in between a military-led regime that claims to speak for the people while suspending the very system that gives people a voice, which is media and freedom of expression. The question isn't just how long Traoré would rule, but whether democracy will still be possible when all of this fighting ends. This is my major concern here, and I'm throwing this question to you guys. Do you think military rule is really a sustainable way to rule a nation? Because Traoré in his words said, democracy doesn't work for every nation. Critics are saying a lot of things. One of the things that I saw is in Traoré's Burkina Faso, you can praise the army, denounce France, and support the VDPs. But criticism, that can get you silenced or worse. So critics has condemned Traoré's signature move of arming thousands of civilians through the VDP, which means volunteer for the defense of the homeland. Over 50,000 VDPs recruited many young unemployed men, giving them basic training and sent to the front lines. They said this policy would turn citizens into soldiers and risks turning war as a way of life. To end this video, I got so many questions to ask. Despite his good intentions, will President Traoré hand over power, or at least transition the country into constitutional governance so the people of Burkina Faso can vote and have a say in how their country is governed? I'd really like to hear from you watching this video. What do you think of Traoré's policies and the West African country of Burkina Faso? Stay tuned for the part 2 version of this, and for the meantime, you can watch this recommendation next, and I'll see you guys in the next upload. Peace.